What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Bucks3D's YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to be going over the 15 items that I use day to day at my 3D printing shop. Okay, so to start out, the most important tool that I use day to day is my calipers. So as you can see, I have the plastic ones, which is the cheapest ones. And honestly, I've had the metal ones, I've had the plastic ones, and I actually prefer these. They're a little more accurate. And, obviously, if you break one, you really don't care too much because they're only a couple dollars. So yes, definitely go with a pair of calipers when you're 3D printing. If you're a couple millimeters off of something and you need to measure something, these are always the best tool. Okay, so here, this is just a pair of the plastic calipers. As you can see, for $7, you can get them on Amazon. Also, if you go on AliExpress, you can find a couple sets or a more bulk order for a lot less. And for the other tool, we're going to have our tape measure. So it really doesn't matter what you get. I like the Milwaukee one. It's a little more durable. So get yourself a tape measure for some of the larger prints. Okay, now for some of your basic cleanup tools. I always start out with the wire cutters because they are the most useful to me when getting out supports or just chipping off a small piece from a print that maybe I wasn't happy with. Now, these are some cheap ones that I got off AliExpress. You can get like a 10 pack for really cheap, or you can go on Amazon and find like a 2 set for $5. I really like these for cutting off small pieces of filament that really get left over on the print. These are the most important thing, and I have about 20 of them sitting around the shop just so I never lose them. Now, the second most important thing, and I use this every single day, is my scraper. So this is the one from Bamboo Labs. I use it to get small stuff off of my build plates. So as you can see here, I have a little red piece on my build plate. So I would just scrape that off and clean it up. Once I scrape the objects off the plate and I have my print, I like to use the X-Acto knife to kind of trim up any side corners if I'm trying to fit pieces together. It's just nice to have an X-Acto knife somewhere around the shop, but for the most part, the scraper can do the job. Next up, we have a sander, which is great for cleaning up those small imperfections on a print, especially if you're going to be priming and painting something. It's always good to have some kind of sanding tool. I also have an orbital sander, which is great for bigger areas. Next up, we have our assembly. What I like to use is Starbond super glue. So as you can see, I have the medium here. They make a thin and a thick version too. As you can see on their Amazon listing, we have the medium. It goes for around $13 for the 2 ounce, 22 for the 4 ounce. And they have a couple different options, plus these really nice little tips for them that help get into small cracks. So I do recommend Starbond's products, but also there's other options out there like Gloop. This one's Gloop right here. This is a 3D printing specific super glue. So this is PETG. And then we also have a PLA one. If you want to check out them, go to 3dgloop.com, which I will show you right here. And you can go to their website and buy a couple of their products. They have an ABS and an ASA one as well. And here are the big PLA and PETG ones. With Starbond, I like to use an accelerator. So as you can see here, here's the accelerator I use. What happens is when you put the Starbond on, it does dry up pretty quickly, but if you want it to be almost instant, you can spray a little bit of that accelerator on it and it should dry very quickly. Next up, we have a super useful tool, which is the clamps. As you can see here, these are the clamps I'm using. I actually stuck together this love sign here for the shop and had 2 clamps on it with the super glue and the accelerator, and it really got rid of those seams very nicely. You can see the one behind me wasn't as great because I didn't clamp it down. It just glued together. And then we have the small handheld clamp, which is super useful for smaller products. It is very strong, but another tool that I use all the time at the shop. Now, I know this isn't a maintenance video, but I did want to show off these 2 products from Superlube. We have the multi-use synthetic oil, and we have the lubricating grease right here. So I made a little attachment for the lubricating grease, but I find that these are a lot nicer than having the ones from Bamboo. They last a lot longer and they're better quality. So if you want to go on Amazon and check these out, these are great products. Next up, we have a little handheld screwdriver that is electric, really helpful for getting in the small areas when you're taking apart the print head or doing some maintenance on the printer itself. But again, really useful for a lot of different things around the shop. So always get yourself something like this, a little handheld one. Yes, a drill will help, of course, but for smaller areas, this will be a little more effective. Now, last maintenance tool, when it comes to just kind of cleaning out the printer really quick, I have a little air compressor. So I just turn this on, blow out the printer, make sure there's no filament laying around. This one gets pretty strong. But you can also get like a small vacuum and that should do the same trick. I usually just, blow it all out onto the floor and then I'll just vacuum it after. Another useful tool is any sort of Dremel. There's tons of them out in the market. It's really helpful when you're doing a last minute project and you didn't get the right fitment and you need to get an order out the door. This thing's come in clutch for me probably 15 times. So maybe not used daily, but, definitely a helpful tool to have around your print shop. Now, when it comes to the Dremel, I would make sure to get some kind of rotary tool accessory kit because it comes with a lot of different bits that you might need when 3D printing. So definitely check out one of these kits on Amazon or wherever else you shop, and it will be helpful, I promise. Now, the next tool is actually one of the most important, and I use it almost every single day, is a butane torch. One you can get at your local gas station. They're amazing for cleaning up finishes on prints or getting rid of stringing. Now, I use it even to clean up certain white areas if I were to scratch the print, or let's say I was sanding down a certain spot and I wanted to kind of get that color back. You could take a torch to it and it'll really clean up those white spots. Now, one that I don't use every single day, but it is the rubber mallet. The reason I love this thing is because I do a lot of snap-on fittings and clamping and gluing. And one thing that the rubber mallet's great at is just not breaking the actual print itself, but being able to get those fitments in tight so I can use a 0.10 tolerance or 0.15 tolerance instead of increasing my tolerance and using more glue. Okay, everyone, that's going to do it for the 15 products that I use in my shop. And I know it's different for everyone, but make sure if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below. I'm going to make sure everything is linked. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.